the task at hand, avoiding a rumble, the few side by side with the exception. Anyhow, Dave was an active participant in Judge Bolden's project, mixing with ease among a packed auditorium of mainly African-American residents, among an African-American professor of law, an African-American college administrator. Did we together accomplish the goal? We may never truly know. What we do know is that years later, at a golden birthday celebration for Judge Bolden, a picture was taken. Within that frame were the members of the few. The photo contained what will become the first African-American in 140 years to be president of the Illinois Bar Association, the first female African-American to serve as an associate judge on the bench in Will County, the brother of the current long-standing president of the Black Bar Association, myself, and the exception, Dave Garcia, who possessed a strong work ethic. Dave is generally at work in a God-forsaken hour, and here after many have gone home. He can be assertive but never aggressive. He has courage under fire, occasionally outspoken. In short, a slightly, as our chief judge will say, type A personality like most of his fellow circuits, except Judge Cornelius, who we will just call a triple A personality. More importantly, Dave understood even the power and the importance of inclusion and tolerance. He was willing to celebrate the differences of the few while maintaining his pride and his unique culture and background. That to judge anyone, you must first understand as best you can the challenges, experiences, and thoughts of another. Dave's character is grounded in his ability to find common ground with those around him. His friends range from those who have and those who do not, the young and the old, women and men. Whenever I see him with his friend, Judge Matt Brittany, I am slightly amused. I have dubbed them, don't tell anyone, the Abbott and Costello of the Will County Judiciary. Lastly, David is the type of person who often puts the needs of others before himself. I witnessed incidents when his campaign stood still in time, still for the concern and the health and well-being of a fellow colleague, still for the health scare of a beloved family member, still for the passing of his dear friend, Ben Marino. Dave would, ladies and gentlemen, always walk at the exact pace of Ben Marino, confined to a wheelchair. As the sister of one who suffers from autism, I have seen the best in people and the worst on how they treat those they encounter with disabilities. What I saw in Dave was the patience to walk among kings and those who are not the same. With Dave, Ben always stood 10 feet tall. When Dave shared with me his determination to run for public office, I was slightly taken aback. He was walking across the street slightly slower than the young Garcia, the exception, I first met a couple of decades ago. I wondered how in the world would this Bernardo Castillo gentleman walk the walk required. Then I realized that he had already walked in the shoes of so many, building a tapestry of service through his kindness, compassion, and courage. His empathy over the years for others was like a diamond to lighten his path. He will continue to judge, considering all things from various points of view, and to strive to understand the challenges, experience, and thoughts of all, giving respect to all who come before him. He will seek the best for appointments to the bench who have demonstrated a commitment to their community, a strong work ethic, and the highest standard of integrity to serve on the judiciary. Will David Garcia continue to serve our judiciary with the highest dignity, integrity, and professionalism? Without a doubt. Congratulations, my friend.
So I'll ask Judge Garcia to come forward and introduce family members and for his comments to the assembly.
See us do this. First of all, I want to say I want my gavel. it's hard to stand in front of a crowd and talk about yourself. You know, just doesn't feel right. But you know, one of the things that you know happened to me when I first got sworn in is you know, and Matt Bertani, my good friend, always tells me to write your speech because you know, to make sure that you get your thoughts out. And I never listened to him, and I always get in trouble one way or another. But you know, I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that when I became the first Latino associate judge in Will County, most of the circuits that are up here were here, and they were strong enough to hold me in. So I give them all credit. You know, everybody talks about diversity, and when you talk about diversity, sometimes people get insulted, and they start thinking, well, you know, they say, you know, is this person saying that I don't believe in diversity, that, you know, that maybe in some sense I'm racist, but, you know, it's farthest from the truth. Because when I got sworn in, I had experience with a lot of the judges that are up here, that are circuit judges. And I promised myself when I was, or became a judge, that I would take some of their traits. And, you know, and that's what I did. And, you know, I got Judge Powers, who's a strong guy. He has a heart. He can be scary. But, you know, I learned a lot from him. And it didn't matter to me whether he was Republican or Democrat, because when you're a judge, you don't look at things like that. You know, everybody gets treated the same. And, you know, I have no shame to say that when Judge Powers ran, I helped him run. You know, some people that are Democrats will probably be like, shocked. But, you know, I thought that he was the best man for the job at the time. And he's a good guy. He's a good guy. And Carmen, you know, she changed my life. She'll never admit it, but she changed my life. And so did all the circuit judges that are up here. They changed my life. Because, you know, I came in when I was 40, and you start getting older, and you start thinking, am I going to do this for the rest of my life? What is my next step? And I always look at what is my next step. And they were, you know, I applied and they appointed me. They were strong enough to do that, so I want to thank them all. And I want to make sure that they all know that I appreciate that. Because most of them were here when I got appointed. I want to, you know, when you run for a position, you know, sometimes you have to run with somebody you like. Or, you know, I feel like all the associates in the circuits here are like family. And I always joke that we may be dysfunctional, but we're still a family. And having to run against another associate judge was rough. You know, but he was you know, Judge Braun could have easily been up here instead of me, and I would have been sitting out there. We ran a good race. We talked with each other at the beginning of the campaign, and we said that we were not going to be nasty, and we weren't. And it was just amazing to me that, you know, on the night of the election, he came personally and congratulated me. So that shows what kind of man he is. It was a long road coming here. I never intended of becoming a judge. I always wanted to be an attorney. And, you know, I said it when I was out there, how I wanted to be an attorney as a young child. And that's what I always worked towards. And, you know, the opportunity came and I became a judge. And one of the things that I promised everybody here is that I would never embarrass them. And when I was out there campaigning, I told the public, you're my boss. And I wanted a promotion. But I'm telling the public and I'm telling everybody that I represent and I work for the public and for the county. And I want them to understand that I will never embarrass them. I'm in a position and you're never going to hear anything about me other than I hollered at a couple of people here in the some really, really good people in the campaign, and they all helped me out. And most of my campaign people were women, and they were all mothering me. They were telling me to straighten out my tie, close my coat, comb my hair. Apparently, they didn't hit me before I stepped up here. But it's been a great honor. It was tough, running. I want to thank my family, my sisters here, my daughter, and of course Chris, my wife, who's been with me, for 42 years. When we celebrated our 41st anniversary, we were at the Wheatland County Democrat, and when we celebrated our 42nd, we were at, where were we? We were out there in the campaign. Yeah, so my wife would stand for that. Huh? We're gonna, she's the love of my life. I knew it from the first day. When I told her that that we would be married someday, she laughed at me. And she's still laughing at me. So I'm gonna, I'm not gonna make this long speech because it's just embarrassing to talk about myself, but I do want to talk about, some of the other judges here that inspire me, the Brittany's, Matt, and Amy. They're just heart of gold that they have. And, I've been in front of Amy Brittany with a felony person, and when you're a defense judge or a defense attorney, and you're defending your clients, and you're begging basically, especially if your client was guilty, and begging Brittany, knowing that she would send my client to prison, and of course she didn't. And I'm thinking, I would have sent him to prison. But that shows you the kind of heart that she has, and Matt's the same way. The first time I hit the bench, she had all this literature for me, assuming that I would read it all, but it probably wasn't that common. So I want to thank everybody that I met in the campaign, and everybody that helped me, and everybody that didn't help me. I represent everybody. So thank you. This has been a big honor, and having everybody here I feel it in my heart. Thank you.
This is going to start to look familiar. Same program. But it's now my pleasure and honor to ask Vincent Cornelius to come forward, along with Circuit Judge Carmen Goodman, who will administer his oath of office.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Vincent F. Cornelius, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I faithfully discharge the duties of judge of the Circuit Court for the 12th Judicial Circuit of Illinois to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
This time I come bearing gifts. On behalf of the Board of Directors, the Will County Bar Association, I want to congratulate Circuit Judge Vincent Cornelius and to present him with a gavel. And I hope, like Judge Garcia, that he will have to use the gavel sparingly, and I trust that he will judge justly with impartiality and fairness as a circuit judge of the 12th Judicial Circuit. Congratulations. I now ask that our representatives from the other bar associations come forward for their presentations.
thrilled to be able to present this plaque to my former boss, even though he fired me by text message. My friend.
Last month.
And my honorary uncle with this plaque on behalf of the Women's Bar Association. Vince, I have learned so much from you over the past 3 years, most of which has nothing to do with the law. And one of those lessons is that there is a right time for everything. And I hope when you look at this plaque, you remember that message. I could not be more happy for you. Congratulations.
So Vincent F. Cornelius is one of our founding members of the Black Bar Association of Will County. And I know on behalf of probably most of the members of BBA here, it is our honor to present you with this weight on behalf of BBA. We know you will continue to be an excellent person, friend, member, and now member of the 12th Judiciary.
Your Honor, the Latino Bar Association proudly presents you with this frame, this gift on this special occasion. And I've always been admired you is how you wear that all the time. Not everybody can do that. Congratulations.
Hey, Judge Crystal Gavlin is going to come forward for her remarks about Judge Cornelius.
I know the binder looks dramatic, but trust me, my speech will be very brief. To Justice Kilbride, Justice O'Brien, Justice Reyes, to Chief Judge Sainstead, circuit judges, associate judges, to distinguished and honored guests, family, and friends. I'm delighted and honored to be a part of this ceremony where two of my very good friends, David and Vincent, have made history today. I am so proud of both of you, and this is a tremendous accomplishment, and I'm very, very proud. When Vincent first asked me over the phone last week to speak today, I did not immediately say yes. In fact, there were several moments of silence on my end of the phone. Quite frankly, I was very overwhelmed for several reasons, and as I look out now, you'll understand one of them. Vince knows this about me, but I really have a tremendous fear of public speaking in very large places, and I knew today would be really packed. But in fact, that was the first thing that I told Vince. I said, you know, I'm terrified of speaking in public. But as usual, in his smooth and low talking voice, he said, I know. But speak from the heart and have fun and you'll be okay. And his sound advice I have taken to heart, so that's what I'm going to do today. The second reason that I was overwhelmed, and this is very personal for me, is that Vincent knows a lot of people, and he's good friends with a lot of people, and he could have asked anyone to stand up today and speak, but he asked me. And so Vincent, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, this is an honor and a privilege, my friend, to be a part of this amazing moment in your life today. And as a side bonus, I do get to point out that we've been friends for nearly 30 decades, and I still have my hair. When I thought about what I would say today, I had a difficult time because I knew I only had about 3 or 4 minutes to speak, and that's one way Vince tried to calm my nerves. Crystal, I know it's only going to be 3 or 4 minutes. Certainly not enough time to tell you about his achievements,
his accomplishments, and his recognitions. But I would be remiss if I didn't recognize that he is a trailblazer. He was the first African-American prosecutor at the DuPage County State's Attorney's Office, the first African-American president of the Illinois State Bar Foundation, the first African-American president of the Illinois Bar Association. He was an integral force, along with Judge Olding, in the formation of the Black Bar Association of Will County. And once again today, he has made history. On a personal level, I can tell you that he is a family man. I'm looking at his wife, Zena, who's giving me a couple of nods. I know she knows I'm probably nervous. He probably shared that with her. But he's a family man, and his family means absolutely everything to him. I can tell you that he has dedicated decades of his life to public and community service, whether it's being a deacon at his church, or whether it's serving on one board or another, or whether it's simply helping someone in need, not wanting or asking for anything in return, except that when given the opportunity to help someone else out, take that opportunity. I can tell you, to me, he has been a confidant, he has been a counselor, an advisor, a prayer partner, a mentor, and most importantly, my brother from another mother, one of my best friends. On a professional level, I can tell you that his work ethic is second to none, having built a very successful law practice over the past 2 decades. I can tell you he is a brilliant attorney, a superb litigator, an avid researcher, and a judge who will listen intently to both sides, apply the facts to the law, and render a just and fair verdict. And that should come as no surprise to anyone here. And all of those qualities will make him a good judge. But let me tell you what I think will make him a great judge. And this is where it gets very personal for me, because I've known this man for 30 years, and I've witnessed these qualities in him firsthand that remain unchanged, consistent, and these are the qualities that I admire most about him. And those of you that know him well, this will not come as a surprise. First and foremost, Vince is a man of God with tremendous faith, and he walks in the grace that has been given to him and takes nothing for granted. From that foundation is a man of great moral character and integrity, a man with an unyielding desire and thirst for knowledge and wisdom, which leads him to the incredible gift of understanding and discernment. He is patient, he is humble, he is respectful. Now, I know my time is winding down, and there's so much more to say about Vince, but simply not enough time to do it. I want to say that for those of you who do not know him, I hope I've given you in the past 2 or 3 minutes an insight to a little bit about who Vince is. I would encourage those of you that don't know him to get to know him. He is very approachable, very engaging, and I promise it will not be long until you see the qualities that I see in him and that many others who know him see in him. I have no doubt in my mind that Vincent will serve the judiciary, the legal community, and the citizens of Will County well. I, for one, count it a blessing to call him a friend, and now a fellow colleague on the bench. Congratulations, my friend. Well done.
The second speaker for Judge Cornelius is Attorney George Mahoney. George, if you want to come forward.
Justice Kilbride, Justices Reyes and O'Brien, members of the Circuit Court of the 12th Judicial Circuit, Zena and Taylor and Vince, and the family and friends of the Cornelius family and the Garcia family. Judge Cornelius's life reflects on his commitment to his family, to his faith, to his community, and to his profession. When he was a small young man, his mom began to talk to him. She was a teacher, Joliet grade school district. And she instilled in Vince and her children the great importance of integrity. She instilled in them the necessity for a good education, lifelong learning, and hard work. She talked to them and schooled them in the strength and the solace you get from your faith, and the importance and love of family. And Vince not only learned those lessons from his mother, he lives them. And so Zena, every time I talk to Vince and I say, "How's Zena? How the kids?" He says, "She's wonderful. And the kids are just great." Vince's commitment to our community is really broad-based, as you've heard today. His counsel is very highly regarded, and his time that he takes to volunteer in countless organizations is so many benefits to those entities. And I know for a fact that young lawyers from around the state look at the Honorable Vincent Fitzgerald Cornelius for guidance, for direction, and as their mentor. And his commitment for education in our community is so well regarded that the trustees of his alma mater, the University of St. Francis, elected him to their board of trustees. But Vince's commitment to our justice system and our profession is legendary around the state of Illinois. As you heard, he was the president of the Illinois Bar Foundation, selected by his peers, and he was there to spearhead the efforts of the foundation to provide people's access to judgment and to justice, and to spotlight the foundation's efforts to provide funds for lawyers and their families who, because of health principally, had lost their resources and could not move ahead without foundation's help. And then he was asked to lead the Illinois State Bar Association as its president of some 30,000 members statewide. And Vince Cornelius was the face, he was the voice, he was the leader of lawyers in Illinois. And he worked diligently throughout the state to enhance our profession, to support our founding fathers and mothers' determination that it's so critical that we have an independent judiciary for our democracy and our freedom. People who know his honor will describe him as very smart and hardworking, great with people. He'll listen. He's always well prepared, extraordinarily professional. He has the utmost integrity and fairness. He's savvy and decisive. And besides that, he has a great sense of humor and really knows how to tie a bow tie. And his friends will tell you, if you're a friend of Vince Cornelius's, you've got a great friend. I know. And so to the judges here today, the Honorable Vincent Fitzgerald Cornelius brings a wonderful new colleague to the bench of this circuit. To the attorneys and litigants who might not know him and who walk into his courtroom, there are really two things you should consider. First, as you walk up to that elevated bench, and you look up at Judge Cornelius, he won't look down at you. And when you walk into his courtroom assigned to him to hear a case, you'll have a great judge. Judge Cornelius, we're so happy for our county that you're one of our circuit judges.
Okay, that leaves time for comments from Judge Cornelius and an opportunity for him to introduce his family.
May it please the court. Those 5 words, may it please the court. I'm going to so greatly miss saying those words to a judge before I turn and address the jury. I have always loved doing that. I have always loved being in the courtroom. It was September 11th and 12th and 13th of last year that I tried my last jury trial. And I did not know then that it would be my last jury trial, or I might have savored the moment just a little bit more. And so I want to take a moment to thank Justice Kilbride for being here with us today. Justice Kilbride will today have a portrait dedicated to the courthouse, of him dedicated to the courthouse in Rock Island. And he has still made time here to be with us today. And I just thank you for being here, and for Justice O'Brien and Justice Reyes, thank you for joining us today. And my thanks also to Chief Justice Shainstead, who has been so helpful to me in recent days. I'm so grateful to all of you for being here today. I look around this room and I see faces, and I see people from everywhere, from the faith community, from labor, members of my fraternity, members of my mom's sorority, legislators and government lawyers, private lawyers, members of both political parties, people who have been very generous to me with their time, talent, and treasure in recent months, and even access to them. Mayor Odekirk, so many members of the city councils from different areas here. Supreme Court Justice, almost 40 members of the judiciary. A friend of mine, a Grammy Award winner, and another friend of mine, a former NBA player. And my Bar Association family from all over the place. I am so grateful that you are here today. What is challenging for me here today, and I always wonder, I go to so many of these installations, and I've had the privilege to speak at so many judicial installations, and I've always wondered why it is that judge-elects, newly selected judges get up here and just can't hold it together emotionally. And now I know why. Absent today, though, is my mother. My mom, as you've heard, was a teacher for 34 years here in Joliet. And she received her master's degree in education with a focus in human development. A focus in human development. And I was privileged to be the firstborn subject of her passion. No one gets where I get, where I am standing this morning, alone. I see so many people here who have been so helpful to me in so many ways, from kindergarten through yesterday. And I dare not start to call too many names. You know, sometimes life can be summed up in a very simple moment. And I had such a simple moment on the Thursday after Election Day. The Thursday after Election Day, I walked out into my yard, let my dog out, and it was a little bit after sunrise, and I saw leaves everywhere. And there was nothing on my schedule for that morning. And so I walked into the garage, and I got my leaf blower and I got my rake, and I started blowing and raking leaves. And neighbor after neighbor after neighbor stopped to say, "Hey Vince, congratulations on your election. And what are you doing out here raking leaves?" And I said to each one of them that I was as shocked as they were, that leaves would still fall on the lawn of a newly elected judge. But they did fall. And then that moment caused something to occur to me. And the thing that occurred to me in that moment is that this day would come. And that on the other side of this day, no one would care about all the people who were in this room. No one would care about my accolades. No one would care about how I have served. No one would care about the great things and the kind things that people have been saying about me today and saying about me in recent weeks. They won't care about that when they walk up those courthouse steps. And I talked a lot about the courthouse steps on the campaign trail. And I said that when people walk up those courthouse steps, they expect to be treated fairly. They expect to be treated justly. They expect on that day to find the justice that they came looking for. And that someone will walk into a courtroom tomorrow morning where I will preside. And someone will look to me to be the problem solver for that issue in their lives. And I am very humbled by that. And I will say to you that just as I rolled up my sleeves some 36 hours after I was elected, some 21 hours from now, I will roll up my sleeves. I will learn the job. I will endeavor to treat people with fairness. I will endeavor to work with my colleagues in every way that is required of me to work with them. And just as the leaves were indifferent to my lawn, all of these things will be indifferent to those litigants if they do not get the fairness that they come looking for. And so, Judge Garcia, I want you to know that campaigning with you has been a great joy of my life. And for Zena and I to begin to build the kind of relationship with you and Chris that we have means the world to us. And we will be brothers for a long time going forward. Judges Ron and Kinnison, we spent time as opponents on the campaign trail. But I want to thank you both for immediately moving us beyond that point and moving us to the place of colleagues. And I am grateful to you for that. And so, while people will not remember any of those things that I have talked about when they approach my bench tomorrow and going forward, they would be wise to remember, they would be wise to care that my beautiful wife of 28 years was here in this room today. And Zena was my love at first sight experience. And just about everybody in this room knows that while she was my love at first sight experience, that she has no recollection of that experience whatsoever. And that's okay. That's okay. Zena was my campaign manager. And she is the reason I'm standing here today. My mother was not here to make me get out of bed and go do it. Zena was. And she did on a regular basis. Thank you all again so much for being here, all of you. It means so very much to me. And as Justice Kilbride said, I said in a speech to the Supreme Court not so long ago, that I believe that judges are the best and last chance in the world for justice. And I do not take lightly the awesome responsibility of sitting in judgment of the lives of other people. I will take it very, very seriously. I've loved the courtroom. I'm very happy as I approach this new chapter in my life and as I get this opportunity to practice law and to be a part of the legal profession from a different vantage point. I believe that the law is God's greatest instrument of justice and order. And to that end, I will remind myself daily that I am a servant of the people and not a lord over the people. I will remind myself of what says the scripture in the book of Micah and poses the question with an answer. What does the Lord require of thee but to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God? I will remember this day fondly forever. And again, I thank you for being with me.
Before we close, I do have a couple of announcements to make. Now that this ceremony has gone so well, I would like to take credit for all of it, but I cannot. We have a wonderful staff in the Chief Judge's office, Linda, Ann, Crystal. They have worked tremendously hard over the last 2 or 3 weeks to be prepared for everything that happened today. Also, our bailiffs, Chief Bailiff Harvey Caskey, Kim Gregory, and all the bailiffs who have been here to work to be sure that everything works so smooth. So I'd like to thank you for all your service. Thank you very much. Also, I would announce that immediately following the conclusion of the ceremony, which is going to be in about 30 seconds, there is a reception just outside in the hallway where there'll be refreshments to eat and drink. We would hope that you would stay and mingle with everybody for the next whatever period of time. Also, Judge Garcia has extended an invitation to everybody who is here to attend a reception from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock this evening at Ember's Tap House, located at 933 South State Street in Lockport, Illinois. So again, from 5 to 7. So that will be that reception. And finally, much to the pleasure of all the residents of Will County, maybe not so much to Judges Garcia and Cornelius, but they're going to be busy. They have the rest of today off, but they're reporting for work tomorrow. We have 5 very important, distinct divisions in the courthouse. 2 of them are misdemeanors and family. And when they show up to court tomorrow, Judge Garcia will be the presiding judge in family, and Judge Cornelius will be the presiding judge in misdemeanors. So when Judge Cornelius said somebody will walk up the steps tomorrow to see him, there's going to be a lot of somebodies walking up. So with that, we all very much appreciate your attendance today, and then this proceeding is now closed. Thank you.
Excellent job. They're doing fine. They're doing fine.
I gotta have them sign it because I didn't want to miss it.
She's doing fine. But